You know, there is one thing I would like to address my personal opinion on, and it's controversial, especially here in the States right now because the Americans are demanding this right. And was controversial in Canada a little while my father was in power. And I understand my dad's point of view at the time because he's sort of right too. But I want to share my opinion on abortion rights. Uh, you all say women should have right, and you are right. A woman should have more rights than a man, in my opinion. But you're forgetting about one very important thing. You never considered a kid's right. That kid in the belly is still a living being. That kid in the belly still wants life. That kid in the belly just dreams about having a family who loves him or her and wants to live. And you dare suck it up by a vacuum. I understand you can't ban abortion, you know, but you don't need to encourage it either. Look at me with my kids. My kids are dead and I'm trying to bring them back. You know, I would do anything to have my kids back, and you complain that you don't have the ability to kill them. I just hope my point goes across. You know, that's still a life. You only start calculating the child's age at the birth, but you forget that he was alive in the belly all this time. There's still a living being in there. What about the kid? What if it was you? Wouldn't you rather live? You know, how would you feel if you were sucked up by a vacuum as a baby fetus? How would you feel? You know, in the afterlife, you got sucked up by a vacuum and killed instead of being loved and cherished. I understand the cost of living is so expensive, especially in the States, uh, with Medicare and stuff like that. I understand the cost of living is plain expensive, and having a child is not always possible, but it's your responsibility what you do in bed with another person, whether you're a man or a girl. You know, I heard people saying, she shouldn't have opened her legs, but the man should have known better than to jizz without a condom. You know what I mean? Ultimately, it's both parents' job to provide and care for their child. And if you can't do that, at least have the decency to give it up to adoption. You never considered a kid? What if he actually ends up becoming a top researcher, or top doctor, or who knows? What if that kid has a potential of actually fixing your goddamn problems? Sorry for the language. You never consider kids. I know you can't necessarily put a ban on abortion rights because that's that's wanted by the population. If it were up to me, I would ban it. Personally, I would ban abortion. You had a kid, whether you were willing or not. It's your responsibility to raise a child. You had the kid. You should have known better than to just have a one night stand, for example. You should be responsible of what you create. That's a life. Life is precious and should not just be taken away or taken for granted. What if it was you being sucked up by a vacuum? Unfortunately, I can't ban this because it's demanded by the public, especially in the States, only because the cost of living is so goddamn high. Sorry for the language again. But I won't encourage abortion. I'll let you have your abortions if you ultimately want them, because I don't necessarily have a say against my people on it. Power to the people, right? But look at me. My kids are dead. I'm trying to resurrect them. You are trying to kill your own babies. Who's a better parent, at least?